Hello, I wanted to take a minute and create a little video on how to embed an editable Google Doc in your Haiku website. So there are a wide variety of reasons you might want to do this, but the most obvious being to provide a way for students to give peer-to-peer feedback on group projects, or as a teacher to provide a document that you want to solicit feedback from the class on. Anyway, you can talk amongst yourselves, and there are just myriad reasons why this is a powerful tool to have access to. Unless the school is or has a Google domain, however, it's a little more tricky to do it, but it really isn't that much of a stretch. And if anybody needs help, I can certainly provide some assistance doing that. But I thought I'd create this little tutorial to show you how you might do this. So I'm in my class, and this probably is going to work best, although you don't have to do it this way. It'll work best if the arrangement on the page is at least one long block and one short block, or I should say wide and narrow. Or you can do it simply one column that spans the entire width of the page. If you have 3 columns or 2 equal width columns, when you embed it, it just looks a little messy. It doesn't mean that it doesn't work, but this would be just my recommendation, and that you would do the embedding here in the longer block. Okay, but again, that is up to you. So the first thing is you're going to be adding a content block. Okay. So the content block we're going to add down here at the bottom is called Embed the Web. And again, there are literally millions of things that you can do with this, and as time goes on, we'll be conducting more trainings, but I do encourage people to play around with this. If I click Embed the Web, I'm going to skip all these choices, although there are a phenomenal number of choices. I'm going to go to Quick Add. Quick Add allows me to directly import some HTML. And now what I need to do is I need to get out of there. This code right here I found on a nice blog. Basically, it provides a frame for embedding your Google document within. Okay, so this particular frame, you probably want to take a moment. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to paste this in. So I think it's probably a good idea to take a look at this. Basically, it's just some HTML, a simple line of HTML, and if you copy this down, you can write it down and type it in once. What you'll end up with is you can use it again and again and again, all right, and you can simply paste this code into the window each time, and the only thing you're going to change is this little spot right here where it says SRC, meaning source, and there's 2 open single quote marks. You're just going to paste the link for your Google Doc in here. So I have a Google Doc here, and I'm the owner, but I've set the permission so that anyone who has the link can edit. You have to at least have that. You have to have this edit option in the sharings on. If you don't, obviously people who access the document will not be able to edit. So once you have that, you can then copy the Google document link, and then you just simply go right up here and paste. All right, and so it ends up with that SRC, when it had 2 open quotes, now has your HTTPS docs.google.com blah 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 blah. Okay, and they both begin and end with iframe, and that's the frame in which your Google Doc will appear. Okay, so you don't have to worry about learning HTML if you just use that code and then replace it with that whichever Google Doc you want. The address of it inside those single quotes, you'll be just fine. You'll then click Next. Alright, and so you have to give your block a title, as with anything else in Haiku. Give it a minute to think. And I'm just going to, for purposes of an example, just say editable Google Doc. Okay, and I'm not going to type a description. I don't need to. Block placement. I'm going to ensure that this particular one is in one of the wide blocks. So I'll just put it right here at the top. Okay. And now I'm going to view the code again, and my recommendation is you have 2 parameters on this code. You've got a width and a height. The width is here set to 500. I would set that to about, let's go 850. 850 is a good width. It's a large percentage of your screen. It will accommodate an average size 100% viewed document, and show all the menu bars without them being squished up upon each other. The height is 300. You can leave that alone, and I will show you what that will do. We'll save that. And then right here in this block, you should see in a moment as it chews on that. I think I have a slightly slower connection. There you go. The Google Doc appears here, and you'll notice that it has the title and it has all of the editable features up on top. But you also will notice that, oh gosh, well, this seems to be a little cramped. Although you can type right in this window. It's only 300 pixels high by, and actually, whatever you type in for the width, this width is already determined by Haiku. But if you notice down in the lower right-hand corner, it says View and Pop-up. Because you've clicked and you changed the frame sourcing to be much wider, if you click this in the pop-up, it will show up in a much wider window, and you will get all of the editing options, and your Google Doc will show up. Okay, I'll give it a minute here to do its thing. And there it is, and it definitely goes from one border to the other. All right, and so you've got all of your editing options up on top, and you can scroll up and down the document as you would normally. Okay, and so if I wish to put my cursor here, all right, I can click my More button, and I can go down, and or I could just go, let's say, green text. I can say this is a comment. Oops, I misspelled comment. Okay, so I can edit, and when I close all the, because in the sharing options for my Google Doc, I made sure and say update this, okay, that all of these items will be saved in the Google Doc just as if you were sending somebody a link, okay? Anyway, you can play around with this a little bit. I know it's slightly more complex than some of the built-in Haiku features, but it's a nice, slick little workaround. And again, the key to making this work is just that basic first line of HTML code. If you just write that down and save that, or refer to this video, and each time you want to embed a Google Doc, simply stick your Google Doc address inside those little quotes, you should be all set to go. All right. Anyway, enjoy, and I hope that you see that that is a helpful tool to have.